Hey, it's me, Vicky Marie, and good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you are in this crazy world we're living in. Anyway, this is a surprise live. I'm not expecting anybody really to be on it because I didn't plan it. I wanted to tell. I've been thinking about doing a video about this news that came in this week. And I was going to do it tomorrow, but I thought I'd do it now, and then you can watch it either now live with me or watch it tomorrow. I want to just say hello to everybody who's watching on catch up, or anybody who's watching now. If people come in the chat, obviously I'll say hello to them too. Now, this, we've had in the crime world, we've had in the cases that we've been following here on my channel. We've had a lot of good news this year, haven't we? There's a lot of justice, people being found guilty, or like in the Rachel Marin case. Hi, Kelly. Hi, Amethyst. We've had the Rachel Marin suspect court. So he's going on trial next week. We had this case, the Madeline Kingsbury case that I'm going to talk to you about tonight. Her ex-partner, he's been found guilty of her murder. So he's due to be sentenced next week, and that's what I'm going to be talking to you about. We've had this Sarah Sharif trial. They've been found guilty. We've got their sentences next week. There's the Delphi murders, Richard Allen found guilty. There's been quite a lot of justice for cases that we've been following this year. Maybe at the end of the year, I think that's what I'm going to do at the end of the year, is a video that for the positive things, if you like. They don't bring these poor people back, I know that, but it is nice to see them get justice, isn't it? Hi, Lorna. Hi, Daniel. I've caught everyone. I'm glad you've managed to come in. I know I've caught everyone off guard because this is a total impromptu live. But what we're going to talk about is Madeline. Those of you who've followed my channel for a while, you'll remember the case of Madeline Kingsbury, this beautiful young woman, only 26 years old, mother of 2 children. Well, I'm going to show you the video of what Madeline was trying to break away from her partner, Adam Fravel. I feel like I should show you a photo of him, but I don't think I want to really. We'll be seeing him being interviewed anyway in this video. And they'd been living together. They'd been together for quite a while. They had the children together. But Madeline, really, she was growing away from him. She was growing apart from him. Her career was taking off. She'd started seeing somebody else. They were living in the same house, but they were estranged. And she would have been moving into a new property. She'd been looking for somewhere to stay away from him. He'd been abusive to her. His sort of, her career was taking off. She was studying, she was working. His career was going down the toilet, basically. He was doing nothing. He was like a parasite, living off her. And it was all going skew with, and she was always too good for him, in my opinion, anyway. But, she met him when she was young, when they were young teenagers. And, she was growing apart from him. Well, he didn't like that. He wasn't going to let that happen. She was his as far as he was concerned. But she didn't know, unfortunately, just what lengths he would go to make sure that she didn't go off with anybody else, or that his children didn't get brought up by anybody else. So they were still living together in their sort of the home that they'd been sharing together, but she was making moves to move out. They were separated, really, living under the same roof for convenience purposes, which a lot of people have to do. But she had found somewhere else, and she was just about to move out. Now, I'm going to show you this video. We have seen it before, but it's very poignant video because this is the last video ever seen, or the last sighting of Madeline alive. And it's very telling because Madeline and Adam, her partner, they dropped the children off at the daycare in the morning together. We'll see them going in together, but you'll see from Madeline's face, you know, you can see that things aren't good between them. The poor girl, she just looks so unhappy. And oh God, you just want to scream at her, you know, get away from him, don't go home with him, don't go home with him. But unfortunately, they dropped the children off at daycare together. She did go home with him. That was the last time she was ever seen alive. And he then went back to pick up the children. You'll see that in a minute. When he went back to pick the children up, he was alone. He was alone. And sometime during that period, he murdered Madeline and made efforts to conceal her body. So let's have a look at the video. As I say, very sad. Now, I think that dog knew, didn't it? You know, that just when they walked in with the children, you could see Madeline's face. She looked very, very unhappy, didn't she? And then when Adam came back later on his own, he was all full of himself, wasn't he? He's feeling great because he knows that Madeline, you know, she'll never be anybody else's. You know, he's dealt with the problem as far as he's concerned. Not only has he got rid of Madeline, but then he's thinking, oh, he'll get the children, you know, because he was probably concerned that she was going to take the children away from him. I'm going to show that video again in a minute, but you know what strikes me in this video the most is the dog, because as he walks in, that dog is barking at him. He goes up, tries to make a fuss of the dog, but the dog is not happy with it. That dog knew this, you know, the dogs can sense things. Let's just watch it again. Yeah, that dog didn't want to know, did it? Anyway, so that's what happened that day. And then I think right from the off, the police suspected Adam, obviously, because that's, you know, suspicion always falls on the partner, doesn't it? Especially an estranged partner. And, you know, everyone knew that their relationship was difficult. But they could not find Madeline's body, and they did not. This was in March 2023, and it took a couple of months to find Madeline's body. And in fact, when her body was finally found, it was found in a place that had already been searched. So it's thought that maybe Adam, because it's a very wild terrain out there, where they were in Minnesota. This happened. And they did find a body. A policeman found her body, luckily. And as soon as her body was found, Adam was arrested. So all that time they'd hung off from actually arresting Adam, but they were investigating him right from the off. But as soon as Madeline's body was found, and as I say, in a place that had been searched before, so it's thought that maybe Adam moved her body, but you know, I don't know if that was confirmed or not. But anyway, at the end of the day, they caught Madeline. They found Madeline, and therefore they caught Adam, because of course then they had all the forensic evidence that until they found Madeline's body, they didn't have. So he finally went to trial. Of course, he pled not guilty, even though there was overwhelming evidence against him, and he's been found guilty. And next week, they're having the sentencing. And the reason why I'm sort of making this video is because when the actual trial happened, it was not televised. You know, our trials are often televised in America, but it was the family's request. It was Madeline's family. They didn't want it to be televised. But now when it comes to the sentencing, that is going to be televised. So the family have asked for their victim impact statements. They want them on video. They want them on record. The judge has allowed it, and the sentencing will be televised live. And I don't know what time that's going to be. I will try my very best to bring it live. But if I can't bring it live, I will be definitely showing you all a recording of it. Anyway, we're going to just look at a couple of videos of Adam, because after the trial, videos come out, don't they? There's videos that we haven't seen of Adam being interviewed by the police. So we're going to be having a look at a couple of videos. Hi, David. Hi, Moonbeam. Hi, Tracy. There's a few night birds. Hi, Admit. No, you've not missed the boat. You've not missed the boat. We're still here. I'm just going to show you these videos now about Adam. Oh, and this man, that dog had the right idea, didn't it? When it saw him and it was barking at him. There's just something about him, obviously I know what he's done now, so I'm not going to like him, am I? But he just seems like such a smug, self-satisfied sort of toad of a man. He reminds me of a toad, except I probably like toads better than him, but that toads haven't done anything wrong, have they? But he's like this smug, satisfied toad of a man. So anyway, so we're going to look at a couple of the interviews that he had. Sorry, my streaming thing, it's gone all funny. Why has it got my name there? Do I normally have my name there like that? Everything's sort of acting a bit strange today. But anyway, let's have a look at one of these videos. Is this the first one? No, that's not the first one. Try and find the... So this, I think, was a video of what they actually asked him, when they interviewed him on the very first day of Madeline's disappearance. So, of course, the police would be there saying, that's where Madeline lived. Her friends and family were worried that they weren't getting messages back, etc. So Adam said that he took her van off somewhere to run some errands, and when he came back, she'd disappeared. She'd just disappeared. He says she was there when he left to run these errands, and then when he got back, she was gone. So let's hear this video, or watch this video.
Okay. So Adam, I'm sure you're aware of what's all going on. Some people called about Madeline, a little concerned, and we're just trying to get an idea of where she might be.
Yes.
When's the last time you heard from her or anything like that?
Yeah, so this morning when I last heard from her, so that's why personally I wasn't very concerned yet.
What time about was that?
Probably around
10
10.
a.m.?
I left the house around 10 to bring some stuff down to my parents. And then when I came back home, I noticed that my car was still there. She was going to take my car to work today, and my car was still there. And she wasn't there. That's the last I saw from her. And then I tried texting her, tried calling her, and I haven't heard anything since.
And you had the van today, correct?
Yep. Yep, I was hauling stuff down to my parents.
Gotcha. And your car was still there, and you now have your car, correct?
Correct.
So does she usually ride with anybody to work, or is there anybody she could be with right now?
She doesn't usually ride with anybody to work.
Oh, she doesn't usually ride with anybody to work. Sorry, I'm just interrupting because I want to say I'm so sorry about your dad, Kelly, and it's his heavenly birthday. Could be something, all my phone has been acting up as well all day today. It's been really weird. Everything's just been a bit funny, nothing mega, but like my phone just started playing a video. It was just literally lying here next to me, and it just started playing a video. Sometimes sort of funny things happen. You think, is it energies or something? I don't know. Maybe it's just I need a new phone. But as you say, Amethyst, Friday the 13th, but that's a lucky day for me because, well, supposed to be, because my son was born on a Friday the 13th. I was saying that this morning, a video that I did this morning. But, Kelly, I'm sending you hugs. And actually, let me just, I haven't lit the candle yet. Shall we light this candle for Kelly's dad for his heavenly birthday? Let me just come back. Yeah. Where's my lighter? Don't tell. So we'll light the candle. So Kelly, kisses. Happy heavenly birthday to your dad. What's his name? What's your dad's Ralmo? Yeah, I know. There's always things happening in this house. Thanks, Admit. Dave. So, happy heavenly birthday to Dave. Gosh. Yeah, and funny thing that, sorry, I'm totally interrupting the video, but a funny thing that happened the other day, when we were listening to Ayub and talking about Jay Slater. And then when I went to get my son from work, it was the part one. On my way there, on Kick, I have Kiss FM on my car radio. And Forever 19 came on, and Forever 19 was a song that they sang at his funeral. And, I don't even know about Kiss Radio, but they have you hear the same songs over and over again. They seem to have like a playlist. I have never, ever heard Forever 19 on there before. And it came on while I was on the way to pick up my son. So I don't know. You just wonder, are these probably a coincidence, but I like to think that there is something more out there. And, as I say, people, instead of people having to prove that there is something more out there, why don't people prove that there isn't? That's what I'd say. So, sorry, let's go back to this video. Totally getting distracted, aren't we? In fact, I think I'm going to go back to the beginning of it.
Okay. So Adam, I'm sure you're aware of what's all going on. Some people called about Madeline a little concerned, and we're just trying to get an idea of where she might be.
Yes.
When's the last time you heard from her or anything like that?
Yeah, so this morning when I last heard from her, so that's why personally I wasn't very concerned yet.
What time about was that?
Probably around 10.
10 a.m.?
I left the house around 10 to bring some stuff down to my parents. And then when I came back home, I noticed that my car was still there.
Yeah, so he said he left the house at 10 to take some stuff to his parents. But it seems likely that that's when he left with poor Madeline's body, and because he took her van as well. I'm sure he took her van. Anyway, and then he says when he got back, her car was still there. He's just a liar. He's another one of those criminal masterminds, thank God. We see this so often, don't we, with these people. They think they're cleverer than the police, but actually they're not.
She was going to take my car to work today, and my car was still there. And she wasn't there.
Oh, she wasn't there. Oh, my God. And that's right. So he said he took her van and she was going to take his car. Why would she take his car? So the thing is, he needed the van because he had to put a body in it and go and hide it somewhere. And this is also the guy who his family, his sister, do you remember? I don't know if you remember or not. When we watched a video of his sister speaking, she believes he's innocent. It's just crazy.
That's the last I saw from her, and then I tried texting her, tried calling her, and I haven't heard anything since.
And you had the van today, correct?
Yep.
And
Yep. I was hauling stuff down to my parents.
gotcha. And your car was still there, and you now have your car, correct?
Correct.
So does she usually ride with anybody to work, or is there anybody she could be with right now?
She doesn't usually ride with anybody to work, but she has before.
Yeah, it's a funny video, isn't it? It's like they're in a car, obviously, because that's the steering wheel. But is it the police car? And why can't we actually see Adam or anything? Or is that the body cam, I suppose, is it? Maybe that's the police's body cam. So they're not actually taking a video, are they? They seem to be interviewing him in the car. Maybe, I don't know if he's sitting in the car or if this interview is on the phone. The policeman's writing things down, isn't he, taking notes? But yeah, it might just be the body cam, and that might be why we can't actually see Adam.
Because she had a couple co-workers in the normal. So that's what I figured she did. But I don't know.
I think it was your.
I took 2 things of melatonin. I apologize if I sound groggy.
No, you're all right. But was she supposed to pick up the children today?
Yes, usually. So we usually do drop-offs and pickups together. And this morning we both did the drop-off, and I couldn't get any response from her since before 10 or whatever. And I tried calling her. We usually pick up the kids around 4:15. And I tried calling her a bunch of times, I think 3:30 and like 3:45 and 4. And I didn't get any response, so I just picked up the kids.
So he didn't get any response, so he just went and picked up the kids. Hi, BF. And yeah, didn't get any response, so he just went and picked up the kids, according to him. I wonder if he planned this or not. I'm not sure maybe whether he did plan it. If he did, he didn't plan it very well, or whether he just lost his shit that morning, came back and they got into an argument about something, or did he actually plan to do this? But as I say, not exactly a criminal mastermind because he didn't plan it very well. The police were onto him right from the beginning, because when he tried to take the kids to his parents' house, and the police stepped right in there with the social services and everything and went and took the children, first of all, unfortunately, into care, but eventually they ended up with Madeline's sister, and they're still with Madeline's sister as far as I know. I think that'll be a permanent one of Madeline's sisters, because she's got quite a big family, Madeline. And I think those children, they've probably been adopted now by Madeline's sister. But yeah, he thought he could take the kids, drop them off at his parents' house, and he'd be able to get, because he went to court for custody of them. This man, I mean, it's just breathtaking, isn't it? Because not only he's taken their mother away from them, and now they've lost their dad as well. So, they're little orphans. Well, they're not orphans because the sister is looking after them, but you know what I mean. He's taken the mum away from them. I don't know how this is something I can never understand, even if he hated Madeline because, their relationship had broken down or whatever had happened. Relationships do break down, don't they? And partners, people who were once madly in love end up, hating each other. And I get that, that's a human sort of thing, isn't it? Sometimes the more love you had in the beginning, the more hate you have after. But how could he do that to his children? That's what I just can't get. Take the mother away. It's just a horrible thing, isn't it? And then, of course, now they've lost him too.
Myself.
Okay. You know anybody in town she might be with? Any clubs or organizations she's affiliated with?
Not clubs or anything.
She do it like a weekly thing, like a girls' night out or anything like that? Usually.
No, nothing like that.
Um,
She could be at the first thing I would think would be if she was at our friend the Coca's. But I've talked to them already tonight, and they said they haven't talked to her. They haven't heard.
I can't work out if this is a phone interview or if he's actually there in the car. But anyway.
Gotcha. Anywhere else in town you think she might be?
At this time of night, no. During the day, she constantly goes to like coffee shops, like Blue Grounds and Blue Heron and stuff like that. But not at this time of night. It's definitely odd for her right now.
Does she ever go to the bars at all?
No, we're not drinkers at all.
And she was supposed to leave for the cities tomorrow. That's correct?
Yep. So last weekend we made plans for this weekend. I was gonna bring our son Noah down here to my parents, and she was gonna bring Ellie up to the cities to her sisters. And when I haven't got a response from her all day, I just took both the kids down here to my parents.
Gotcha.
Ooh, Vinnipolitan. Okay, so that's the first video that I want to show you. We're going to look at a couple of them. Yeah, just looking at that car, you know, it looked like it was a Ford, wasn't it? Look at that, my face has gone all red. That's lighting that candle. I've gone all hot and flushed now. Yeah, because I've been freezing all day, but I am feeling warmer now. I was even thinking I might have to take one of my jumpers off. I've got loads on. But yeah, I'm not sure what sort of police cars we have in Spain. Probably Seat, I would imagine. You know, Seat's like the most famous Spanish make of car. But I've never really noticed, to be honest. Oh, we had some drama in my little village tonight when I was bringing my son home from work. And we came along the high street, and there's like a sports bar type thing on the high street, you know, where all the young people go and everything. Anyway, everyone was outside. And I couldn't look because I was driving, so I had to look forward. But my son was looking. He said, oh, there's something going on there. Looks like it's all kicking off, you know. He said, oh, I've got to go there in a minute to get some cigarettes. So I'm going, no, don't go. I don't want to get involved in any problems or whatever. You know, and this is like a little sleepy village. But, you know, things can happen anywhere. Sometimes worse things happen in villages, I think. Because they're so sort of, I think in villages you get like a real, what's the word? Like you know, everybody knows each other. So sometimes when you get grudges and when you get like nastiness, it's really more concentrated than maybe it is in a big city, you know, because it's like localized sort of nastiness, if you like. Anyway, I said, do you want me to drop you off now? He said, oh no, I'll walk up there. So when he went in there, yeah, there'd been like a big fight. You don't know really what had caused it, but it was some guy with a great big bushy beard punched a little girl. I say little girl, I don't mean little girl as in a child, but you know, a little petite sort of girl punched her in the face outside the bar on the pavement, and then did a runner. And so the Policia were there, the Policia Nacional, he thought, were there, the more serious ones. They'll take that very seriously. The gender violence is a big thing at the moment in Spain. So, you know, that guy you get, when they get him, and they will get him because somebody will know who he is. You know, you don't live in a little village. I would imagine he either lives here or he's a frequent visitor in that bar. You know, my village, it's not the sort of place you'd come for a night out, you know, like it's like you go outside my village for a bit of action normally, but you know, it's just a quiet village, but there are bars and everything. I mean, these places that are like that place, it's open till 4 a.m, and of course it's a Friday night, isn't it? So yeah, so it was all going on. Hi Yvonne. Better late than never, isn't it? Better late than never. Hi Nightbot's here. So yeah, so it's all been happening in my little village tonight. It just shows you there's crime everywhere, even in sleepy little villages in Spain. Okay, so we're going to have a look at another video of Adam being interviewed. Now the sound's not very good on this one, so I've put the subtitles on so that you can see what he's saying, because you can't hear it brilliantly, unfortunately. Now this guy, it came out in court at Madeline's friends. Madeline had told her friends that he had told Madeline at some point she would end up like Gabby Petito. You know, remember the Gabby Petito case where Gabby was on the van life trip with her boyfriend, Brian Laundrie, and he killed her. And Adam apparently, according to Madeline's friends, from what Madeline had told them when she was still alive, he was obsessed with the Gabby Petito case. Now, I think he might have been planning this for a while. I think on that day when he actually did it, it probably was not planned, because he did make such a cock-up of it all. But I wonder if he'd been thinking of doing it. You know, had he got the idea when he saw this about the Gabby Petito case? Even though, I mean, it didn't exactly end well for Brian Laundrie, did it? But I wonder if that sort of gave him some kind of an idea or whatever, and maybe he'd been thinking about doing something to Madeline for a long time. Like, their relationship was very on and off. And there were times that they split up and they got back together. And of course, you know, that's common, isn't it? When there's children involved, it's difficult to break away from someone completely, isn't it? But I believe that Madeline had started to see somebody else. So this time, it seemed more permanent, you know, and she had found somewhere else to live and stuff like that. So it seems like Adam had realised that this time she meant it. It wasn't just, you know, one of their normal breakups. She meant it this time. And maybe he'd been planning it for a while, and maybe either that morning he just lost his shit completely, or he just thought, I've got to do it now before she moves out.
I want to ask again, do you know where Maddie is? Did you have anything to do with her disappearance? You're infatuated with the Gabby Petito story, your own words.
Yeah, it was, yeah, when it was when the manhunt stuff was going on.
My biggest fear right now is that this is
No, I get it.
This is mimicking that case.
I get it.
So, see how he's got his arms folded. So the plea, I don't know if you can hear it very well or see the subtitles. It's not very good volume, but I don't really know how to make it any better. But he's got his arms folded. So that's straight away defensive, isn't it? You know, the policeman said to him, look, we know that you were infatuated with the Gabby Petito case. And he goes, oh yeah, I get it. I know this is like mimicking that case. I get it. But he's not, he never admits to anything, but you can see from his, I'm not a body language expert, but even I can see that, look, that defensive stance he's got there, you can tell he's got something to hide.
The guy that's infatuated that case is sitting right in front of me. And he's doing a really good job keeping it together, and I'm not buying it.
I'm not either.
And I'm not, I just want to find her.
No,
For your kids, I just think you're dealing with a lot here. I think you've been dealing with a lot here. You have a 5-year-old and a 2-year-old together. I think something happened in that apartment.
from you guys' perspective, why would I hurt or make the mother of my children disappear?
Because you're pissed.
I don't know that, maybe it just happened. I don't know, but more happened, Adam. And I'm not saying that on a whim.
I mean, you know, it just looks guilty, doesn't it? It does look guilty, if anyone can look guilty. Thing is, the police aren't daft, are they? I mean, if they've got any experience, they can probably smell bullshit from a mile off. But the problem is proving it, isn't it? And while they didn't have Madeline's body, it was, you know, they couldn't even prove that she would, you know, she could have run off with someone, or anything could have happened. So although you can obviously try someone for murder without a body, it's better if you have a body, isn't it? As well as for the forensic evidence, etc. It was like a miracle that they found Madeline's body, because where it was so desolate, it was so difficult to search. You know, the terrain that they had to search, it was like a miracle that they did find her. Thank God they did. Apart from the fact it meant that her family could give her a decent burial, etc.
I'm saying that based on the last 30 hours that we've spent on this case. Adam, you got to live too. And I just think you're holding back here. You know more.
No, I don't. I don't know. Maddie and I do not have any history of all of violence besides emotional or verbal.
Unfortunately, that's not what I heard
But
either.
we've never laid hands on each other or anything like that. So why someone would say that, I don't know. I know I can tell you.
I don't.
I
I'm
know.
struggling because you guys
Okay.
went home. Her
I want to believe
jacket
you,
was in
Adam.
the house.
So she's saying her jacket was in the house. You guys were, I mean, you know, it's pretty obvious he's going to be number one suspect, and his demeanor here, with the way he's got his arms folded so defensively, he does look guilty. He does look guilty.
Her bag for work was there.
Where was her phone? Did you guys ever find her phone?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
So why would she leave all that behind? And no vehicle's gone, and her jacket is there.
So did he say then, where was her phone? I'm sure he said, because they're saying her jacket was in the house, her bag for work was in the house. But I'm sure he said then, well, what about her phone?
House. Her bag for work was there.
Where was her phone? Did you guys ever?
Yeah. Where was her phone? Did you guys ever find her phone? Well, he knows they didn't find her phone because he took that.
Find her phone?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
So why would she leave all that behind? And no vehicle's gone, and her jacket is there. I'm stuck right there. And then you leave a couple hours later, and I'm just having a hard time with it.
Adam,
Told you what?
do you know that there's like some zip ties or something in the back of your van?
Yeah.
So they're saying, do you know there's some zip ties in the back of the van? Oh, poor Madeline.
What's up with that?
I think we have that like in the storage compartment or something like that back there, which is other materials, but
Okay.
it's just stuff that we keep in the van.
Okay. What do you use those for?
I don't know why, but
So he says, oh, it's just stuff we keep in the van, but it's not his van, it's her van. He said, oh, it's just stuff we keep in the van. Zip ties in your van. Why would you keep zip ties in your van?
didn't put those there. It probably wasn't something, oh, maybe because a couple weekends ago, she took the van up to her dad. Her dad put a new oil pan. Some kind of major repair he did on the engine. And I know he had to zip tie something. Maddie mentioned he had to zip tie some vacuum hoses or something together. Maybe that's what it was from.
Uh-huh.
But I've never personally zip tied something.
Like I said, Adam, your own admission, you're infatuated with the Gabby Petito story.
You gotta remember that was
This
how
is,
long ago was that?
well, this case is rearing some eerily
Yeah.
similar circumstances.
I get it.
Your timeline is off, and these text messages where you're kind of suddenly worried about her, they don't make sense, and they almost seem like they're intentional. They almost seem like they're breadcrumbs that you knew the police would pick up.
Okay.
And I'm trying to work with you here. Again,
I'm just saying now I'm not gonna say much because now my wall is up and I'm probably gonna have to get a lawyer.
So he said, I'm not going to say much now. My wall is up. I'm probably going to have to get a lawyer. Thing is, if you're innocent, you don't need a lawyer, do you? You really don't need a lawyer. I mean, okay, I think it's fair enough that he might feel a bit threatened because, you know, everybody knows the boyfriend or the husband is normally the first person to be suspected. But the thing is, if you're innocent and you really haven't got anything to hide, what would you need a lawyer for? You just, you know, they will soon clear you, won't they? You know, as soon as you start telling them what's happened and you're telling the truth, they will know that. But they've got to interview you. But yeah, he's going to lawyer up now.
I'm gonna know your views and stuff. So,
Okay.
I mean, you can ask what you want, and I'll answer. I'm just saying I'm putting up my defense now. I've been working with you guys completely, but now I'm getting accused of stuff. So you know.
All I can say to that is we wouldn't be doing our job if we didn't
No,
try and do
I get that
Adam.
too. I get that too. So.
Only because
Yeah, because if the mother of your children has disappeared, God, you'd be doing anything you could to try and find her, wouldn't you? That was the other thing that this man did when people were searching for her, like the community were helping search. He was making it difficult for them. He was even mooning at them. He was threatening people that were searching for her. He was pulling his trousers down and showing his backside to the searchers. You know, that's the sort of man he is. A horrible man. Really, really horrible.
again, you were the last one to have seen her. You were the last one to be in the house at the same time. You were the only one that had access to the house. You only had access to her cars. You went home with her. So that's why.
Anyway, so the good news is he was arrested when Madeline was found, as I said, and he, I think it was 2 weeks ago now, he was found guilty. The verdict was guilty. And next week, so we've got two big sentencings coming up next week. We've got the sentencing on Tuesday of Sarah Sharif's father, stepmother and uncle. And it may even be the same day, actually, but it'd be in American time. So it'd be at night when Adam's sentencing comes up. So, yeah, it's not very good sound, that video, I admit. That's why I put the subtitles on it. But I know they're difficult to see, aren't they, subtitles when you're on a phone. Let me read you this. Let me read this article. So the good news is that this Winona judge is to allow the cameras in the courtroom for the Adam Fravel sentencing. So we couldn't, the trouble is there was nothing from the trial. We had to, during the trial, we just had to rely on, you know, reporters who were there or some true crimers and things that were there reporting back what happened the trial. I think I did do some videos with sort of summaries of what happened at the trial, but it wasn't videoed like a lot of them are. But the sentencing is going to. So a judge granted a request from the family of Madeline Kingsbury to allow media coverage. So he was convicted of first and second degree murder. I find this a bit confusing. How can you be convicted of first and second degree murder? I don't really understand that. Maybe someone in the chat knows about that and can explain it to me. But anyway, because if he was convicted of first degree murder, I don't understand what the second degree murder was as well. But anyway, that must be just the way they do it. And he was her ex-boyfriend and father of her children. And Madeline Kingsbury, they keep calling her Kingsbury, which, as you know, really annoys me. They want the public to see these victim impact statements. And he's expected to receive a life prison sentence. So he's going to get life. I think that's pretty much guaranteed. But is he going to get life with the possibility of parole or not? I suppose that's really the question, isn't it? He's going to get life, but will it be life? Like as in life and no parole? Or will it be... will it be life with a possibility of parole after 30 years? Because he's quite young. He's 30, I think he's 30, or he may only be 26 himself. He looks a lot older, to be honest. But he met Madeline when they were at school, I think, high school. So maybe he's a similar age. Maybe he's only 26. So if he only got 30 years, really, he'd only be 56, would he, when he comes out? Yeah. So let me see if I can find any more videos. Let's see. They're only little short videos. Oh, right, they've shown the evidence now. Let's have a look.
Joining us here at 6, I'm Randy Meyer.
And I'm Kelsey Carlson. Our top story this hour, the evidence that prosecutors used to convict Adam Fravel of murdering Maddie Kingsbury. Her body was found last summer, and last month a jury found Fravel guilty. Tonight, Fox 9's Rob Olson takes us through the evidence. And Rob, there is a lot of material here.
Yeah, hours and hours worth. It took prosecutors 2 weeks to present their case, in part because there was so much video that jurors had to watch in its entirety, along with witnesses to talk about what they were watching. Adam Fravel was first interviewed by police briefly at his parents' home the day after Maddie Kingsbury disappeared, but then a day later, a much longer interview and facing much more critical questions.
Now, I'm not going to say much because now my wall is up and I'm...
Oh, this has got better sound, this video. It's got bits from that. So that's that same interview that we watched, but we can hear it a bit better.
You're probably going to have to get a lawyer.
By the time Adam Fravel had finished this 90-minute interview with police, just 2 days after Maddie Kingsbury had gone missing in Winona, he knew he was a suspect because...
And they're always so... What do they see in these horrible men? What did she see in him? She just... Every video that I've seen of Madeline... and back in the day when, she was being searched for, I was doing regular, there's a Madeline Kingsbury playlist on my channel. There was videos of her singing to her babies and just, she's just such a lovely person. And you just think, why do these horrible men seem to attract these lovely girls? What is it? I mean, maybe it's because she met him when she was young and obviously she was trying to leave him. There seemed to be this sort of, I don't know, you just think, God, what did she see in him? Bless her. Because he just doesn't come over as a nice person. It's not about how he looks. It's about the way he comes over. He comes over as just like not nice, doesn't he? What did you see in him, Maddie? Bless.
Nona, he knew he was a suspect because investigators had told him so.
Your timeline is off. And these text messages where you're kind of suddenly worried about her, they don't make sense. And they almost seem like they're intentional. They almost seem like they're breadcrumbs that you knew the police would pick up.
It is among the evidence jurors saw at his murder trial, including this initial search of the home they shared in Winona, where investigators would discover Maddie's jacket, purse, phones, and laptop left behind, suggesting she didn't leave on her own. When Maddie's friends had reported her missing, police called Adam, who wasn't sure if he should be worried.
I don't know if you can tell me or not, but like nobody else heard from her at all?
No.
Wow, okay.
Jurors also saw dozens of security videos, this one showing Adam appearing to change license plates on Maddie's minivan. Soon after, he's at a gas station. The camera's catching it now has the plates from...
Oh, what did they say? He was changing the plates on her minivan. Let's have a look. All right, let's have a look at that. So, yeah, we didn't get to see any of the videos or evidence because there were no cameras allowed whatsoever. But now there's a few videos.
License plates on Maddie's minivan. Soon after, he's at a gas station. The camera's catching it now has the plates from Maddie's car. And a series of cameras catching the van driving south towards the...
Yeah, they had all this CCTV of him, so it was like they knew the area that Madeline's body probably would be because of his movements, in the van. But also they were up against the weather. Look at the water here. There was terrible weather. So it's a miracle, really, I think, that they found Madeline. Thank God they did, because he probably would eventually have got charged with a murder anyway, but it just makes it so much easier when they've got the body. But yeah.
Township of Choice, where Adam said he'd turned around when he realized he'd meant to go to his storage locker, not to his parents' house in Mabel. Jurors also saw the pictures of where Maddie's body was discovered, well hidden and partway in a drainage ditch near where...
Yeah, it was in this drainage ditch. And as I say, the policeman who found it was a miracle, really. It was a policeman who found it. He was on his own, when I say on his own, there was probably loads of police across the area. But he was searching that particular spot on his own. And he found her. Thank God he found her.
Adam said he'd turned around. She was wrapped in a gray bedsheet and bound with black tape. Matching black tape was seen on a shelf at their home. A bed was missing a sheet. When investigators compared tags of the sheet she was wrapped in and those from their home, they appeared to be the same.
I'll ask again, do you know where Maddie is?
No.
Did you have anything to do with her disappearance?
I do not.
It took the jury less than a day to convict Fravel on all counts earlier this month. It was 2 counts each of first and second degree murder. He will be sentenced on December 17th in Winona, facing a mandatory life sentence. Rob Olson, Fox 9.
All right. Thank you, Rob.
Yeah. So on the exact same day, because it's Tuesday, that the Sarah Sharif's father, stepmother and uncle, they will be sentenced. So Tuesday's a big sentencing day. We will it's like you do feel sort of a bit euphoric about it, even though I know they're still dead. I know that nothing can change that, but it is still a nice feeling to know that they've been found guilty. His lawyer says they're going to appeal. I expect in Sarah Sharif's case, they'll appeal. That's just part of the course, isn't it? But they're not going to get anywhere with an appeal. They're not going to get anywhere. The evidence is overwhelming. So, So we've got two big sentencing things on Tuesday. One in the Sarah Sharif trial, that'll be in the morning, I would imagine, UK time, of course, and then the American one will be like sort of 3 o'clock, is it? That America sort of wakes up. So it might be around 5, sort of our time or Spanish time. So, yeah, it is. I do feel we've had quite a lot of justice this year, so that's good. That's good. There's a few things, that we want to what's the word? There's still a few cases that we'd like to see a result in. I mean, like with the Anna Knezovich case, we just want them to find Anna, don't we? The same with the Samantha Murphy case. We want them to be able to find Samantha. Their trials won't be, the trials of their murderers won't be till next year. Of course, Sebastian Rogers, we'd just like Sebastian to be found one way or another, wouldn't it? And yeah, I admit it is. It's like that tunnel that Rachel was found in. Yeah, she was dragged off the trail, wasn't she, and taken to that tunnel. That's going to be intriguing, finding out what happened there, because how did he get her to that tunnel? Because it wasn't like right next to the trail, where I'm talking about Rachel Marin now. It was, you know, there was the trail, and obviously somehow he enticed her off the trail, but he got her to that tunnel. Now that we've seen her killer, Victor, he's not exactly a great big guy, though he's probably quite strong because he's in the construction business and that. And Rachel was petite as well. She was very petite. But yeah, he got her, it took her quite a long way, you know, so he seemed to, maybe he had a knife with him. I don't think he did have a knife with him, because he didn't kill her with a knife or a gun. He killed her with a rock, I think. But again, I don't know the full details. We'll find all that out at his trial, but his trial is not till next year. But he's not going anywhere. And of course, he's got another murder trial because he murdered someone in El Salvador as well. And he's done something in Los Angeles. So, you know, he's definitely not coming out of prison ever. But yeah, we've got to wait till next year for that. And the same with Samantha Murphy's trial. But I think Victor's trial is in May, Lorna. I think it probably, let me just have a look. I don't know if they've actually announced a date yet. But, you know, there'll be horrible details that will come out, of course. But, yeah, April. All right, April. So, let me just show you that, actually. Now, from what I've not really looked into what's happening to him, like in prison. Oh, there's Rachel, bless her. But he's been awkward, I think. You know, I mean, you just think, well, God, he's caused enough misery. You'd think at least he'd sort of make things easier now for the family and for the kids. But so, yeah, they'll have to wait a little bit longer for justice. So on Friday, a Harford County Circuit Judge postponed the October trial. He should have had his trial already. It was supposed to be in October, but they've changed it to April the 1st, 2025. Now that's something to do with him, something his defense requested the delay to review evidence in the case, including DNA and surveillance footage. So he'll be pleading not guilty as well. And he waived his right to a speedy trial through an interpreter. He doesn't want a speedy trial. So anyway. So state law requires that a defendant should be tried within 180 days of being charged. And that time will have expired on January the 4th. So in court, it was revealed that Hernandez is undergoing psychological care while being held at the Harford County Detention Centre. That guy, that Victor, he'll be trying everything he can. I do think he is a clever criminal, if you like. I don't want to give him any compliments, but I don't think he's like, you know, some of these thickos and these criminal masterminds like Davido, as you call him, David, and David Konobovich, as I like to call him, and then Adam and others that we see that they, you know, they think they're clever, but they're not. I do think Victor is like a fox. That's what he reminds me of. I think he is wily. I think he is clever in a criminal way. I don't expect his IQ is very high. I don't know, but he's certainly in criminality is clever, because he left El Salvador. He got over the border. He didn't come over the border. Because there's been a lot of how did he get over the border? Well, he didn't get. He came over the border. I think he tried twice, and I know this from a family member that's told me. He tried twice, and he was taken back. But finally, he sneaked over the border. He didn't come over the border. It wasn't that the border people let him through. He sneaked over. He's crafty. That's the word I'm looking for. So I don't like to say he's clever, really. He's crafty. He's wily like a fox. I do think, and he's sort of travelled all across America then, moving around and, somehow keeping his head down for all that time. So it took him quite a long time to find him, didn't it? So he's undergoing psychological care, bless him, poor old Victor. And the court set a new motions hearing for January the 31st, followed by a March 31st pre-trial conference. And the trial is expected to last more than 2 weeks, through to April the 16th. So we need to write that in our calendar, don't we? That's a trial. I don't know if that's going to be televised or not. But Rachel needs her justice, and her children, and of course her grandchild, because she's got a grandchild now. So her oldest child, her daughter, she's had a little girl. So they've got some positivity this year, a little baby in the family, and that's good. Admit, no, that was not Jack O'Sullivan. But we don't know who it is. They haven't released who it is. Yeah, animal cunning, David. Yeah. He is. He'll drag his heels and try every trick in the book. He's bound to, because that's the sort of person he is. Look at me with my little Aunt Sally cheeks. But he'll get found guilty. And I'll tell you what, once he's found guilty, I will never mention his name again. I will do. I've got, I will do like a thing about him beforehand. But once he's found guilty, this is the thing with these killers. The people, we will remember the victims, on a regular basis. Every now and again, I will be doing like a reminder on anniversaries of their murder or things like that. But as far as the killers are concerned, once they've been found guilty, that's it. I don't want to talk about them again. Do you know what I mean? It's like, that's it. Forget them. They're gone as far as I'm concerned. Unless, they escape or, have a successful appeal or anything like that. We don't want to talk about him after that, do we? Once he's found guilty, everyone will forget about him then, and he'll be, hopefully, particularly Victor. Can't see him ever getting any parole or anything like that. If he's found guilty, that'll be it. I can't see how they're not going to find him guilty. But then, he's got to have his fair trial, just like everybody, hasn't he? He's innocent till proven guilty. Yeah. Okay, now Jack O'Sullivan. I'm going to do a little update on Jack O'Sullivan tomorrow. Not when I say an update, he hasn't been found or not so far, but at least once a week I like to do a little thing about him. I've got some video to show of his mum, and she's been doing interviews and just that sort of thing. It's not an update in the sense of he's been found, but just to remind everyone about him. So at least once a week, I'd like to do a video about Jack, so that, especially now coming up to Christmas, I mean, you know, that's not going to be a very good Christmas, is it, for them? So I think Madeline's family, probably for the first time since Madeline died, Madeline, who we're talking about today, they might have quite a good Christmas, I hope, you know, because he's been found guilty. Adam's been found guilty, get their sentencing on Tuesday. You know, the children are being looked after by this, you know, she's got a big family, and they may have, you know, obviously Madeline's not there. It's not going to be a brilliant Christmas in that sense, but, you know, they'll feel it'll be at least, hopefully, this sentencing will be done by Christmas, and maybe they'll just have a bit of relief this Christmas and something to celebrate at least, which is that Adam Fravel has not got away with it and he's got a massive sentence, hopefully. Okay, oh, and another thing that I've been looking at a lot is this JonBenet Ramsey and the members last night, and we talked about JonBenet. And I've been watching the Netflix documentary. I've been watching loads of videos. You know, like I like to sort of listen to podcasts and things like when I'm washing up or cleaning, which I do occasionally. And things like, you know, have them on in the background. And I've become spellbound by this case now. I feel like there is a chance that this case is going to be resolved. You know, there's... Anyway, without spoiling it, because I'm going to do a deep dive video on it. And look, I think there's two real key things. And the thing is, it's the ransom note and the way that JonBenet was killed with the garrote. They meet, you know, they're the key things, aren't they? Everything else they're the key things, and they don't sort of go together, do they? Because why leave a ransom note when you've already murdered her? You know, it doesn't make sense, does it? But some of the things that I've been looking into, you know, I do feel that now with the improvements in DNA and things, that this case might be solved one day. Did you watch it, Kelly? It's a good documentary, isn't it? It's good. You know, it's interesting. There's things in it that I didn't know about. Though there are some things in it that I think, oh, you know, I don't know why really they concentrated on that. But anyway, it's good. If you haven't seen the documentary, if you're interested in the JonBenet Ramsey case and you haven't watched the Netflix documentary yet, it's very interesting. So it's definitely worth a watch. Yeah, Kelly, you said that, didn't you? But you know, did you see, I was watching something today earlier on Vinnie. If you watch the Vinnie, you know, Vinnie Politan on, is it Court TV? There's somebody, he had a handwriting expert on, and they've actually matched that handwriting to one of the suspects in the case. And you will see they actually show the handwriting on the ransom note and the handwriting of this guy, one of the guys that's a suspect. See if I've got his name here somewhere. Not that teacher in Thailand, he didn't do it. That one that confessed to it is nothing to do with him. He wasn't even in the area at the time. But there was another guy who was, I can't remember his name. Anyway, the handwriting expert, yeah, if you've, we'll look at it one day in a video, I think, because Vinnie Politan and Court TV, they don't copyright strike you if you use their videos in fair use. It was really interesting. It was definitely, and this guy makes sense to me as a suspect because, you know, what I couldn't understand was why would somebody leave a note like that? And how did they have the time to leave a note like that? And then it didn't sort of go with like the garroting and all that. You know, it was a very extreme way of killing someone. But the guy, this suspect, he is an absolute psycho. So anyway, we'll talk about that in another video. And not the photographer, Kelly. No, he's what did he do? He was the one that they found that he had photos of JonBenet in his did he live in a tent or something, or lived in some strange place? Anyway, he had photos of, he was obsessed with JonBenet, not the photographer. No, another guy. And he lived just round the corner, literally round the corner. Literally lived about 5 houses down the road. But his DNA did not match. So the DNA is a problem in the JonBenet Ramsey case, because that DNA is it's not matched with anybody, has it? It didn't match with the family. It hasn't matched with any suspect that they've tried to. And it didn't match with this guy. But what they're now saying is they don't think that DNA is the correct DNA. Or it's like could be from anyone because of it's 30 years ago, isn't it? That DNA could be from someone from the forensic lab or from the... Anyway, without it's a big long sort of spiel, but we'll look into it one day because it's interesting. Yeah, that one who was homeless for a time. His handwriting is identical. The handwriting expert compared it with his handwriting on something else, and you know how they concentrate on certain things, don't they, with handwriting, and yeah, it was identical, but you know, I don't know, because it's the weird, because nothing makes sense in that case. You know, the ransom note doesn't go with garottings. You know, you don't garrote a child. Well, just the fact of garroting them, the way that she was murdered was so brutal and so horrible. That's a psychopath's way of... That's why I can't see that it would be you know, some people thought it was a mother or whatever. I was thinking it can't be a mother, because why kill them like that? Though, you know, people were saying, oh, she did it like that to try and make out it was a psycho. I don't believe it was anything to do with... I mean, she may have known something, but I don't believe it was her. But that way of killing someone, that's extreme, isn't it? She's trying to tell me you've had enough time on the live now. Come and give me some attention. Okay, so anyway, so I'm waffling on a bit now, like I always do at the end. So thank you for caring about Madeline, especially, because that's who we're talking about tonight. And the candle, of course, is for her, but it's also for Dave, Kelly's dad. Happy heavenly birthday, Dave. I'll have a little drinky for you in a minute. Yeah, thanks for being here with me. I'll see you really soon, as always, in the next video. Please leave your DNA on the like button. And people are frightened of leaving the DNA now, because, you know, it can get you implicated in all sorts of things. But leaving it on the like button. Oh, it's Tia. Hello, baby. Hello. I know. You want some attention, don't you? The dog says she wants some attention. Don't know if I can show her. There she is. Okay, so see you soon. Sleep well or have a good day, whatever time it is. And I'll see you soon. Take care. And may your God go with you. Happy heavenly birthday, Dave. Bye.